Welcome to the Golden Seams, where we, Gabe and Michae, your hosts, invite you to join us on a transformative journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Our podcast is all about helping you uncover your authentic self, find your true calling, and create prosperity in alignment with your deepest values and aspirations.
We're embarking into the realm of self-love and self-worth, guided by the illuminating wisdom of Brené Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection. Prepare to challenge societal expectations and embrace your authentic self as we delve into this groundbreaking work that has touched millions of lives worldwide. Through Brown's expertise for wholehearted living, we'll discover together how to let go of who we think we're supposed to be and embrace who we truly are. Welcome to Guidepost 5, Cultivating Intuition and Trusting Faith, Letting Go of the Need for Certainty.
Brené starts us off by telling us, everything about this research process has pushed me in ways that I never imagined. This is especially true when it comes to topics like faith, intuition, and spirituality. When the importance of intuition and faith first emerged as a key pattern in wholehearted living, I winced a little bit. She then goes on to give us the dictionary definition. Intuition is a direct perception of truth or fact, independent of any reasoning process. Brené then shares with us her new definition for intuition that she developed after focusing on intuition and faith for an entire year. She tells us, intuition is not independent of any reasoning process. In fact, psychologists believe that intuition is a rapid-fire, unconscious, associating process, like a mental puzzle. The brain makes an observation, scans its files, and matches the observation with existing memories, knowledge, and experiences. Once it pulls together a series of matches, we get a gut on what we've observed. Sometimes our intuition or our gut tells us what we need to know. Other times, it actually steers us towards fact-finding and reasoning. As it turns out, intuition may be the quiet voice within, but that voice is not limited to one message. Sometimes our intuition whispers, follow your instincts. Other times it shouts, you need to check this out. We don't have enough information.
Brené continues on, I found that what silences our intuitive voice is our need for certainty. Most of us are not very good at not knowing. We like sure things and guarantees so much that we don't pay attention to the outcomes of our brain's matching process. Rather than respecting a strong internal instinct, we become fearful and look for assurances from others. What do you think? Should I do it? Do you think it's a good idea? Or do you think I'll regret it? What would you do? I had a friend years ago. She was an assistant manager at a restaurant. This man came in with this little girl. She just knew something was off there. Looked perfectly fine, perfectly normal. After the hostess seated them, she told the server, I'll take over this table. She went over there, she took the order, she started sort of talking with the little girl and talking with the guy. Everything seemed perfectly normal, but her gut just kept going off. Her gut just kept ringing. She went to the manager and she said, I think that this guy, there's something off with him and this little girl. I don't know, I think he kidnapped her. She said, I want to call the police. If I'm wrong, I'll take the responsibility, but will you back me if I call the police? And she was looking for his support. And he said, absolutely not. And he said, I'll fire you if you do that. She continued waiting on them. Her gut was so strong. So she called the police secretly. The police came, and this man happened to be somebody that they were looking for, that this little girl had been missing, and they had been looking for this child and this man for some time. And she actually saved this child's life. Now, I know that's an extraordinary example, but it's so profound. We shop stuff around because we do want support, we do want backing, but when it comes to the end of the day, to have the courage, I'd rather be wrong and take the risk, apologize maybe, than not be. Then Brené shares, what does your gut say? We shake our head and say, I'm not sure, when the real answer is, I have no idea what my gut says. We haven't spoken in years. When we start pulling people, it's often because we don't trust our own knowing. It feels too shaky and too uncertain. We want assurances and folks with whom we can share the blame if things don't pan out. Surveying has become a red flag for me, Brené says. It tells me I'm feeling vulnerable about making a decision. If we learn to trust our intuition, it can even tell us that we don't have a good instinct on something and that we need more data. Our need for certainty sabotages our intuition is when we ignore our gut's warning to slow down, gather more information, or reality check our expectations. I'm just going to do it. I don't care anymore. I'm tired of thinking about it. It's too stressful. I'd rather just do it than wait another second. I can't stand not knowing.
Brené then says, when we charge headlong into big decisions, it may be because we don't want to know the answers that will emerge from doing due diligence. We know that fact-finding might lead us away from what we think we want.
But isn't that good news?
I think so. Brené goes on, I always tell myself, if I'm afraid to run the numbers or put the pencil to paper, I shouldn't do it. When we just want to get the decision-making over with, it's a good idea to ask ourselves whether we simply can't stand the vulnerability of being still long enough to think it through and make a mindful decision. Intuition isn't always about accessing the answers from within. Sometimes when we've tapped into our inner wisdom, it tells us that we don't know enough to make a decision without more investigation.
Brené's revised definition of intuition is not a single way of knowing. It's our ability to hold space for uncertainty and our willingness to trust the many ways we've developed knowledge and insight, including instinct, experience, faith, and reason. When my gut goes off, I stop everything. I stop everything. I've learned this through business, through my past experience working. If my gut goes off, I tell everybody and everything no. I say no to everything until I know what to do. I shut everything down. I have had people over hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, chewing down my throat, coming at me in heated deadlines, giving me deadlines of no time to get additional information, threatening me. And the minute somebody lays it out like that for me, my answer is no. The minute somebody threatens me, my answer is no. The minute my gut goes off, my answer is no. You want to get me to a no so fast, any of those things, any of those bells go off, the answer is no. And I will shut it down until I have experts. I have expert information. I know what's going on. I will turn that thing around until I know every facet of the situation, because I want to know why you're so freaked out that you need to threaten me. It piques my curiosity to an extraordinary extent. I know when my gut goes off, the consequences are not going to be for me if I listen. They're writing for somebody else. I shut everything down and get completely still until I have a better knowing of what is going on.
That is awesome. Enjoyed what you heard? There's more to explore. For full-length discussions, exclusive content, and easy-to-use tools designed to effortlessly support your authentic transformation, subscribe to our Patreon, The Golden Seams. Don't miss out. We welcome you to join our growing community and dive deeper into the topics you love. Experience The Golden Seams on Patreon and unlock the complete experience for yourself now. I find that at times when I'm not so still or focused in on myself, just going about the day-to-day, sometimes I do get intuitive hits, but maybe I'm not present enough to catch it. I remember when I was younger, a couple times, sitting around the pool, phone on my lap, the thought goes through my mind, I should put this in my pocket. If I stand up, it's gonna fall. If I get distracted and I start doing something else, I forget, and 2 times in a row, I drop my phone into the pool after getting the intuitive hit that it was coming. I don't even know if it's intuition the second time or a lesson not learned. It's interesting how in the daily life we can get these subtle intuitive hits that maybe are not so easy to grasp.
When it's more subtle, it's harder to recognize.
Yes. And this brings back the importance on the stillness that you were sharing, that you learned how to do. I think that this is one of the most valuable practices that meditation can help develop, is just stillness outside. You practice stillness in the meditation, but carrying that stillness with you in daily life, I think, is a big deal. I think it allows much more access to our own bandwidth. We're not so spread out over so many thinking and worrying. And this also ties back into the idea of faith and certainty, and the thing that she's kind of using to bridge intuition and faith, this idea of the certainty.
I learned to be really still after I lived in Asia, because while I was there, I'd go to the temples almost daily and I would sit there with the monks. I was doing it to sort of settle myself. My intuition just skyrocketed, my abilities to see and to know things and to sense things. And that's really when I learned the power of that and what a huge asset it is for all of us. But it's about recognizing it, like what you're saying.
It feels like if you were to imagine decision making as a building process, and when you're going to start a new task or a new project, hopefully the foundation is sturdy, stable, clear, and not an anxious, rushed energy, right?
Yes.
And then I think oftentimes when we're not grounded in ourselves and we are doing that surveying, checking in with the outside, it's this ping pong energy. It's very like pinball almost. It's probably better.
When I'm surveying, I'm coming from a place of fear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And darkness. But darkness isn't like not being able to see at all. Because then it's coming to a point where an answer for a decision that affects you is being taken from somebody who doesn't know all of the ins and outs that you do on how this decision might affect you. And without explaining it, you're willing to take them on just their word or something like that. Every decision we make has so much depth and affects us in ways others don't understand that we may or may not. I think this surveying is a slippery slope and an easy, unconscious scapegoat for blame, perhaps. I know she acknowledges this. I see it. I could see that.
The other thing I think is valuable to remember is that our emotions are our compass. I always say that because I truly believe it. For example, anger means boundaries are needed. That's what that's saying. And so I feel like emotions and intuition are incredibly linked.
Yes, absolutely. Thoughts are like electricity and emotions are magnetic. And we're building these circuits in our minds and in our lives. They have to be compatible. You have to connect, the right wires to each other, and the magnetic fields can't be opposing and obstructing the flow of whatever it is you're trying to build. I think that stillness is the only way to truly access the knowing that we need to build the best model for ourselves, that authentic blueprint that's deep within us somewhere. Like she said, when she asks, what does your gut say? We shake our head and say, I'm not sure. When the real answer is, I have no idea what my gut says. We haven't spoken in years.
Yeah. It's about being still.
Yes.
And just letting the answers come. I'm a firm believer that if I ask a question, and I tell my clients this all the time, ask the question, put it out there, the answer will come. Trust that, know that the answer will come. It does. It does every single time. We are being heard on so many levels. We just have reached a state of so much chaos, I feel, going on, so many things happening that it distorts it. And so when that soft, subtle knowing of intuition comes forward, like with your phone, we may not recognize it. And the reason we don't is because we've mixed it in with the salad of our thoughts and all the chaos that's going on. And that's where the beauty and the power of the stillness comes in.
This whole thing reminds me of a quote attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And I think that there's something unique about when we're in alignment with ourselves. The path seems almost absurdly simple once it's in focus and clear. Simple is not always easy to get to.
Exactly. Yes. Another comment when you have to go survey something is always when I worked in corporate America, this seemed to happen almost at every job I was at, where somebody would come to me and they would say, Michae, I think such and such doesn't like me. I think it's just an office thing. It's a corporate America thing for sure. By the time they came to me, they'd already talked to everybody basically on the planet. I'm just kidding. I'm sure. I remember this guy, he came to me and he said, Michae, I think the boss doesn't like me. And I'd seen this happen at so many different positions I'd held that by the time this guy came to me and he was on my team and he said, what do you think? And I said, you think he doesn't like you? And I said, I don't have any reason to believe he doesn't like you, but I'm going to tell you this. If your gut says he doesn't like you, You better find out if that's true or not and figure out what you're going to do about it. He went around, he asked everybody else, they talked him out of it. Who do you think was gone in 3 months?
Oh,
That
wow.
guy.
Wow.
I have never seen it where somebody, their gut goes off and they say, do you think such and such doesn't like me? I've never seen that actually be wrong. It may be hard to siphon it out, but it's always right. At some point, their gut is telling them this person doesn't like it. It's sort of like racism. It can be so subtle, or any form of discrimination can be so subtle and difficult to put your finger on. But this is a place where you really want to trust your intuition and then plan accordingly for yourself, in my opinion. Trusting your intuition can make the difference for you and your family. And I think that this is a big part of this wholehearted self-love, everything that we're talking about. Trusting yourself.
And it's interesting because in that situation, going around and asking that question is probably uncomfortable to find out if somebody doesn't like you. Even if the answer is yes, you don't gain anything from it. If the answer is no, you don't gain anything from it. So it takes courage to go around and investigate, I think.
But
when
it
you do get a
also
gut feeling.
tells you that you're vulnerable
Absolutely.
and that you need to trust yourself and plan accordingly so that you have a safety net or you're prepared for that. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
But recognizing, oh, I'm doing this because we all do it. I'm sorry, but I think everyone does this. Okay.
Agreed.
I don't believe anybody hasn't done this. So when we're doing that, is it possible to just sit with yourself and get the answer? Or if you are going to go polling or surveying, only talk to trusted individuals who really have your back. I think that that's another piece.
Next, Brené takes us into faith. She says, I've come to realize that faith and reason are not natural enemies. It's our human need for certainty and our need to be right that have pitted faith and reason against each other in an almost reckless way. We force ourselves to choose and defend one way of knowing the world at the expense of the other. It's our fear of the unknown and our fear of being wrong that creates most of our conflict and anxiety. We need both faith and reason to make meaning in an uncertain world. Here's how Brené defines faith based on her research interviews. Faith is a place of mystery, where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty.
It seems like, as she's describing this, this is where religion and science parted ways. It's the realization that this has handicapped us by doing that.
Absolutely.
They're not exclusive. Brené says, I love this from theologian Richard Rohr. My scientist friends have come up with things like principles of uncertainty and dark holes. They're willing to live inside imagined hypotheses and theories, but many religious folks insist on answers that are always true. We love closure, resolution, and clarity while thinking that we are people of faith. How strange that the very word faith has come to mean its exact opposite.
This reminds me so much of a Terence McKenna quote. I think it goes, my technique is I don't believe anything. If you believe in something, you are automatically precluded from believing its opposite.
Wow.
And I think you can either be sitting in stillness, listening to yourself to see what comes or what you find, or you're playing back a tape in your mind about what you believe and affirming it over whatever you're looking at. So you can't be listening and playing a tape of belief back at the same time.
That goes back into the things we label, and we've made a decision about something and then we limit its expansion by labeling it. And therefore we limit our own expansion. It's amazing.
Really.
Brené says faith is essential when we decide to live and love with our whole hearts in a world where most of us want assurances before we risk being vulnerable and getting hurt. To say I'm going to engage wholeheartedly in my life requires believing without seeing.
Brené goes on to the dig deep for guidepost 5. Get deliberate. Letting go of certainty is one of the greatest challenges. We have to find ways to be still so we can hear what we're saying. Get inspired. She shares a quote by Anne Lamott. The opposite of faith is not doubt, but certainty. She also shares a quote from Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. Intuition is really a sudden immersion of the soul into the universal current of life, where the histories of all people are connected and we are all able to know everything, because it's all written there. And get going. She tells us that when she's scared or unsure, we need something right away to calm a craving for certainty. And for her, the serenity prayer does the trick. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Beautiful. We're truly grateful for your presence and participation in this journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Remember, your path to authenticity and prosperity is unique, and we're honored to be a part of it. If you found value in today's episode, we invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit. Until next time, embrace your imperfections and let them be your greatest gifts.
This is Gabe and Michae signing off from the Golden Seams. May you discover the courage to be vulnerable, the compassion to love yourself, and the wisdom to live wholeheartedly. May your path be golden as you find the strength to mend and beautify the broken parts of your life, weaving golden threads through the fabric of your authentic self, just like the art of kintsugi. We'll see you in our next episode.